August 1st, 2012, 9:30 a.m. Knight Capital Group launches new trading software. By 10:15 a.m., they've lost $440 million. The software was buying high and selling low, but 4 million times. The staff watched their company burn in real time, and they couldn't find the kill switch. 45 minutes. That's all it took for one algorithm to destroy a 17-year-old company. But that's just money. What happens when algorithms destroy lives? Right now, AI is making these kinds of life and death decisions. Your resume, your medical diagnosis, your jail sentence, your mortgage application, your child's future. The stories I'm about to tell you aren't science fiction scenarios. These are documented failures happening right now, making real victims. This is what happens when machines take over human judgment, but can't be held accountable. Eric Loomis, La Crosse, Wisconsin, February 2013. He was the driver in a drive-by shooting. He didn't pull the trigger, but he drove the car. He pled guilty to attempting to flee an officer and no contest to driving a car without consent. The judge was ready to sentence him, but then consulted Compass, Correctional Offender Management Profiling, for alternative sanctions. Compass asked Eric 137 questions. How many of his friends had been arrested? Did he get in fights at school? Was his father ever arrested? His zip code, his education level, his employment history. The algorithm labeled Eric high risk to the community. The exact score wasn't disclosed, but it influenced the judge's decision. Eric was sentenced to 6 years in prison, plus 5 years of extended supervision, 11 years total. Eric's lawyer tried to see how Compass calculated that score. Denied. Trade secret. The company, Northpoint, now Equivent, makes millions selling this software. The formula is proprietary. ProPublica investigated Compass in 2016. They analyzed over 10,000 criminal defendants in Broward County, Florida. According to their report, the results were damning. Only 61% accuracy overall, barely better than a coin flip. Only 20% accurate at predicting violent crimes. Black defendants were labeled high risk at nearly twice the rate of white defendants. Black defendants who didn't reoffend were 45% wrongly labeled high risk versus 23% for whites. And white defendants who did reoffend were 48% wrongly labeled low risk versus 28% for blacks. Eric appealed to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. On July 13, 2016, they ruled that judges can use secret algorithms with limitations. The algorithm can inform but not determine sentences. Today, Compass and similar tools are used in hundreds of jurisdictions: New York, California, Florida, Wisconsin. Thousands of defendants every year get sentences influenced by calculations they can't see, challenge, or understand. The Netherlands. Starting in 2005, the Dutch tax authority launches a new AI system to detect childcare benefit fraud. The goal? Catch cheaters. The reality? Institutional discrimination on a massive scale. Let me tell you about a mother. Dutch Ghanaian, 3 children. She worked 2 jobs, cleaner at night, grocery store during the day. She received childcare benefits so she could work. It was legitimate and necessary. The algorithm flagged her. Risk factor: dual nationality. October 2014, a letter arrives demanding her to repay tens of thousands of euros. For the Dutch administration, it was blatant fraud, even if no evidence had been provided. Of course, it was the algorithm's decision. She had 6 weeks to pay money she didn't owe. She appealed, denied. The algorithm had spoken. They froze her bank accounts, seized her tax returns. She couldn't pay rent, evicted. Her marriage collapsed under the stress. The algorithm's actual criteria revealed in the 2020 parliamentary report: unprecedented injustice. Dual nationality was automatically labeled high risk. Turkish or Moroccan descent were flagged for investigation. Low income was suspicious. When you had multiple children, it was a potential fraud indicator. Certain postal codes triggered reviews. By 2019, the devastation was clear. About 26,000 families wrongly accused, some estimates up to 35,000. 500 million euros in benefits were wrongly reclaimed. Multiple suicides were documented. Hundreds of people divorced. December 17, 2020. Parliamentary investigation concludes unprecedented injustice. Officials destroyed the documents to hide the discrimination, and whistleblowers were silenced. January 15, 2021. Prime Minister Mark Rutte and his entire cabinet resigned. First time in Dutch history a government fell due to an algorithm. May 2022. The government officially acknowledges institutional racism in the system. She received 30,000 euros compensation for losing everything. And there have been other cases like this one. The UK Post Office Horizon scandal. Over 900 wrongful convictions between 1999 and 2015. Media reports cite at least 4 confirmed suicides, 236 people imprisoned. Australia's robo-debt, $746 million wrongly collected from 381,000 people. When you automate suspicion, you industrialize injustice. Amazon, 2014. The everything store decides to revolutionize hiring. They had a problem. They received tens of thousands of resumes for technical positions. Human recruiters were overwhelmed. The plan? Train AI on 10 years of successful Amazon employees' resumes and let it identify the top 5% of candidates automatically. A team of about a dozen engineers in Edinburgh built it. Fed it resumes from a decade of hiring. By 2015, they discovered the problem. The system was teaching itself that male candidates were preferable because that's who worked in tech. That's who got hired. So the system literally penalized resumes containing the word women's. Women's chess club captain, women's soccer team, women's colleges. Specific examples from internal testing. Graduates from all women's colleges, automatic downgrade. Women's appearing anywhere in the resume, negative points. Verbs like executed and captured scored higher. Words men used more often. Collaborated or coordinated scored lower. Words women used more often. Amazon's engineers tried to fix it. They removed obvious gender identifiers, but the bias ran deeper. The system had learned proxy patterns. Names more common among women scored lower. Gaps in employment history, often for childcare, heavy penalty. Part-time work experience, automatic rejection. After years of patches and fixes, Amazon gave up. The project was scrapped in 2017, though this only became public in October 2018 when Reuters broke the story. Hiring managers had already been using the tool's recommendations. How many women lost opportunities? Amazon won't say. Today, 76% of Fortune 500 companies use AI screening. HireVue analyzes facial expressions. Pymetrics uses games to assess personality. Teachers face algorithmic firing too. Houston's EVOS algorithm compares student test scores. But if you teach already high-performing gifted students, no room for improvement means you're labeled a bad teacher. Award-winning teachers fired because the math doesn't understand context. Uber drivers live under constant algorithmic surveillance. Take a break at the wrong time? Deactivated for fraud. Work only during surge pricing? Suspicious pattern, and no explanation given. When machines decide who works and who doesn't, we just scale biases. So, what other major decisions have we delegated to AI? MD Anderson Cancer Center, Houston, October 2013. They announced a partnership with IBM Watson. The AI that beat humans at Jeopardy would now beat cancer. A $62 million contract is signed with this promise. Watson would analyze patient data and recommend treatments beyond any human doctor's capability. The project started in June 2012, and they promised patient treatment by the end of 2013. 2013 passed, no patients treated. 2014 passed, still in development. 2015 passed, still testing. 2016, project canceled. 4 years, $62 million spent. Not a single patient was treated. The system remained in perpetual development because it couldn't deliver safe recommendations. Internal reports showed Watson struggled with real medical data and context. It was trained on a small set of synthetic cases, not actual patient records. But Watson was already being sold globally. Hospitals worldwide bought into the hype. Denmark's hospitals tested Watson. Conclusion: not suitable for clinical use at the present time. Meanwhile, a more immediate danger lurks in hospitals today. Epic Systems' Sepsis Predictor, a system to identify vital organs malfunctions, now used in hundreds of US hospitals. Sepsis kills 270,000 Americans annually. It moves fast. Every hour of delayed treatment increases mortality by 4 to 8%. In a 2021 study on 27,697 patient cases, University of Michigan researchers found that the system had only 12% positive predictive value, missed 67% of sepsis cases, generated alerts for 18% of all hospitalized patients, and most alerts were false positives. Epic claims higher accuracy, but that's only when doctors already suspected sepsis. The algorithm rarely caught cases doctors missed, which is the entire point. Worse, the constant false alarms create alert fatigue. Doctors start ignoring the warnings. The boy who cried wolf, except it's an algorithm, and the wolf is sepsis. When Silicon Valley's move fast and break things meets medicine, what breaks is people. So imagine what happens when this tech is used by control freaks and surveillance-obsessed governments. In 2016, Chinese investigative journalist Liu Hu discovered he had become a prisoner without walls. Standing at the airport counter, he tried to book a flight home, but his payment was rejected. He tried again with a different card, rejected. Perhaps the trains would work better. Same invisible barrier. The message on the screen was chilling. List of dishonest persons subject to enforcement. Liu Hu's crime? Exposing government corruption by posting evidence online. When a court ordered him to apologize publicly, he refused to bow to pressure. That defiance sealed his digital fate, transforming him into a modern untouchable in China's emerging surveillance state. China doesn't operate a single unified social credit score like something out of Black Mirror. Instead, it's something more insidious, a sprawling patchwork of blacklists, pilot programs, and local experiments that create an invisible prison around millions of citizens. The system has already blocked over 27 million flight tickets and 6 million high-speed rail tickets from being purchased. Millions more have been banned from certain jobs, while children of blacklisted parents have been rejected from schools, punished for their parents' supposed sins. This digital dragnet is powered by one of the world's most extensive surveillance infrastructures. By 2019, China had deployed between 176 and 200 million cameras, with plans to expand to over 600 million. They're equipped with facial recognition so sophisticated that some systems can identify you by your gait alone, tracking you even when your face is obscured. Every digital payment leaves a trace. Every social media post is monitored by AI. And in some pilot cities, the system has evolved into something even more dystopian. Jaywalkers caught on camera find their faces displayed on public screens in real-time shame. Online comments deemed to be spreading rumors can land you on a blacklist. Some regions even monitor video game usage. Playing too much can lower your score. Most chilling of all, your associations matter. Being friends with dishonest people can affect your own status, creating a society where people might abandon relationships out of digital self-preservation. For Liu Hu and millions like him, this is daily reality. Unable to travel, restricted from jobs, and marked as untrustworthy by an algorithm. They've discovered that in the digital age, you don't need bars to build a prison, you just need data. Li Xiaolin, a Beijing resident, was blacklisted because her estranged father defaulted on a business loan. She hadn't spoken to him in years, but it didn't matter. The system found the connection. She lost her job, her daughter was rejected from university, her boyfriend left because being associated with her was affecting his opportunities. Are the technology providers to blame? Facial recognition powered by chips from Intel or Nvidia? Surveillance cameras from Hikvision? Data storage on Western designed systems? AI algorithms refined with Western research. These are not Chinese government's private tech and patents, but private companies operating worldwide. They design the algo or products we are using every day. And the technology is spreading. Predictive policing in Chicago, social media monitoring in the UK, credit scores determining employment in the US. One of the key differences here is scale. But the principle of using algorithms to sort humans into categories of deserving and undeserving is the same. So what exactly makes a dangerous AI? Every AI disaster shares the same DNA. Let me show you the pattern. Compass hides behind trade secrets. Dutch tax authorities deleted evidence. Amazon couldn't explain its bias. Watson's reasoning was incomprehensible. China classifies its systems. In 2019, customers raised concerns on social media that men were receiving significantly higher Apple Card credit limits than women, even when they shared finances. One high-profile case reported a 20 times difference. The New York State Department of Financial Services investigated Goldman Sachs, the issuer. Still, the incident raised alarms about opaque algorithms. Even Goldman's team admitted they couldn't fully explain how credit limits were determined. When you can't see inside the box, you can't fix what's broken. When it's broken, people suffer. When people suffer, the companies point to the black box and shrug. One biased judge affects dozens. One biased algorithm affects millions. Compass is used in hundreds of courts, each scoring thousands of defendants annually. It's still one formula and built-in biases that has the potential to affect millions. The Dutch algorithm destroyed 26,000 families using the same flawed logic. Amazon's AI reviewed millions of resumes with the same gender bias. China controls 1.4 billion people with overlapping systems. Traditional discrimination has friction. Automated discrimination is frictionless. It scales at the speed of computation. The wealthy hire lawyers to fight Compass scores. The poor take plea deals. Executives don't get screened by bias hiring AI. Entry-level applicants do. Rich patients get human doctors. Poor patients get algorithmic medicine. The powerful make the algorithms. The powerless suffer under them. Stanford study, AI facial recognition error rates. Dark-skinned women, 34.7% error rate. Light-skinned men, 0.8% error rate. The systems fail precisely where the stakes are highest, and the victims have the least recourse. Marked high risk by Compass? Now you have a worse record. Next arrest, Compass is even more certain you're dangerous. The prophecy fulfills itself. Flagged by hiring AI? You stay unemployed. The gap in your resume grows. Next AI flags the gap and you're permanently unemployable. Low social credit? You can't get good jobs. Become poorer. You start missing payments. Now your score drops more. This is a digital death spiral. What started as a prediction system can slowly turn into a machine that creates your future. Here's why such a dumb flywheel even exists. Training data encodes history. History encodes injustice. AI learns injustice. AI amplifies injustice. AI legitimizes injustice. We tell ourselves it's math in all its objectiveness, but math is just opinion wrapped in numbers, and the opinion belongs to whoever controls the code. No oversight, no accountability, no transparency, no recourse, just efficiency. Efficient injustice is still injustice. It's just faster. But hopefully, AI can actually save lives in numerous ways. We even know that, if one wants, this technology can be turned into something positive. AI isn't inherently evil. There are known specific criteria to implement to make it right and transform lives for the better. 100,000 Americans need kidneys. Sadly, 13 die waiting daily. Your loved one wants to donate but isn't compatible. The National Kidney Registry algorithm creates chains. You give to a stranger, their loved one gives to another stranger. The chain continues until someone compatible gives to your loved one. In December 2022, a 101-person chain started with one altruistic donor, and it saved 101 lives across 3 months. Why it works? Completely transparent matching criteria. Every match verified by human doctors. Patients can see why matches are made. Regular audits ensure fairness. No black box, no discrimination. And this saves over 6,000 lives annually. Denmark turned unemployment AI into empowerment AI. Instead of denying benefits, it identifies who needs extra help. The system analyzes work history, skills gaps, market demand, and personal circumstances. Then automatically offers free retraining programs, extended counseling, childcare support, and transportation assistance. The result was a 50% reduction in long-term unemployment, 20% higher wages after reemployment, and 87% of users satisfied. Citizens can see their assessment, challenge it, opt out entirely. Counselors can override any recommendation. The algorithm advises, and humans decide. BlackLine shows how AI should work in business. The platform detects financial anomalies, but with radical transparency. A global manufacturer using BlackLine discovered $2.3 million in duplicate payments hidden across subsidiaries. The AI found patterns humans missed, but crucially showed exactly which transactions were flagged, explained why, duplicate invoice numbers, amounts, dates, provided full audit trail. Humans investigated and decided. Their journal entry risk analyzer doesn't just say suspicious, it shows unusual account combinations, transactions at odd times, amounts outside normal ranges, who made the entry and when. Result: 95% reduction in financial errors and 0 black box decisions. This is the key. AI is tool, not ruler. Every flag explained, every decision reversible, every action accountable. When built with transparency, accountability, and human oversight, it transforms lives for the better. But we are at a turning point. The people we mentioned earlier are still living with the weight of algorithmic decisions. Eric Loomis served his time, but the precedent remains. Dutch families still rebuilding lives destroyed by false accusations. Blacklisted Chinese citizens still digitally exiled. No end in sight. Every day, more decisions are handed to algorithms. Resume screening, loan approval, medical diagnosis, parole decisions, child welfare, police deployment. We have to fight the belief that complexity equals competence, that opacity protects proprietary advances, that efficiency justifies everything. It's wrong. Before any algorithm touches your life, demand answers. How does the system make decisions? Can I challenge wrong decisions? Who is accountable when it fails? Can we shut it off if it's causing harm? These aren't luxury features. They're minimum requirements for any system that affects human lives. Technology isn't the problem. The values are. AI is an incredible tool when it's run by humans.